Should your news video series have a host, or should you go hostless? Here's what to consider. Hey, I'm Asante Bean with the Poynter Institute. We're in an increasingly personality-driven media environment, especially when it comes to reaching younger audiences on social platforms. Younger viewers really connect with people who can portray information in a way that's interesting, fun, transparent, and makes the topic relatable. This is where a host comes in. You don't have to have a host for social videos. Text on screen and voiceover are other options. But by speaking directly to the audience in a personal way, you can build a sense of relationship and trust with the audience that's difficult to achieve otherwise. When you're trying to create a community around a show, the host can be incredibly valuable as a leader for that community. They start to embody the show's spirit and character. In 2020, we spent the year working with 3 local newsrooms on new video series for YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We encouraged the newsrooms to go with a host who could speak directly to audiences. 10 Tampa Bay, a TV station in Tampa Bay, Florida, brought in one of their investigative reporters, Jenna Bourne, to host their YouTube series. YouTube has a different tone from broadcast news, so even for an experienced reporter like Jenna, there was a lot to learn.
I've been a TV reporter for 9 years, and in those 9 years, you learn to do things a certain way, and you learn to tell stories a certain way. You talk a certain way on camera, and being able to say, okay, that's how we've always done it, but that's not how we're going to do it anymore. That was the biggest challenge.
Jenna did most aspects of the production herself. She would report, write, film, and edit videos. One advantage to this is that Jenna could really walk the audience through her investigative process.
The Florida Department of Education didn't respond to my multiple requests to interview Education Commissioner Richard Corcoran, so I tried to snag him before one of the governor's news events in Tampa.
In the feedback we received from Gen Z viewers, they really appreciated seeing Jenna's enthusiasm and involvement with the subject matter.
I'm able to say things in the way that I would actually say it to somebody I was talking to this story about, instead of just kind of giving it to you straight, these are the facts. I didn't think that personality mattered that much when it came to news reporting, but we've shown these videos to young people and heard from them that it's actually really important to them. Feeling that connection to the host is actually really fundamental to them wanting to watch the content.
GBH News, an NPR affiliate in Boston, Massachusetts, brought in an outside host. They went with Malik Mercier, a student journalist at Ithaca College who has a strong social media following of his own focused on news reporting.
We wanted to bring on Malik as a host because he's incredibly charismatic. He has a sense of who the audience is for a show like this.
Not only was Malik a part of the Gen Z audience that the show was trying to attract, but he could also share the show with his following, which helped spread the show's reach, especially on Instagram.
I think I was really excited by the prospect of Internet Expert, just being able to have a young host, being able to have contestants that were teachers, that were students, that were, we had Deja Fox, who's like very strong and like, I'm gonna be the next president, or when she's old enough to be president, will be president of the United States. There are a lot of just different ways that we were able to incorporate youth into this.
The Star Tribune, a newspaper in Minneapolis, Minnesota, chose Alexis Alston from their audience engagement team as their host.
One of the things I would tell myself when hosting a video was to just be conversational and be casual. It's really tempting to kind of turn on that broadcast anchor TV news sort of personality, but I tried really hard to be less formal and talk like a YouTuber.
Alexis was new to hosting, and developing comfort with the social media presentation style is something that takes time. As a viewer, you're not just following the arc within each episode, but you're following the development of the host and the host perspective. Alexis was able to refine her style as the series went on.
The explainer about what reform, defund, or abolish means, and then the breakdown on how the Charter Commission blocked that vote on policing. I would say it's those 2 videos that I felt like I hit my stride more in terms of hosting.
Reform, defund, abolish. What do all these words mean? We talked with activists, residents, and researchers about our community's relationship with the police.
Ideally, you want the host to seem like someone you want to hang out with. It should feel more like the host is talking to you as a friend and less like they're giving you a formal presentation. We asked these hosts what techniques they use to have a more casual delivery.
Mark and I would hop on a call and I would read it out, kind of like a table read, like a script table read, and I would read the script out loud, and as I went, he and I would suggest things like, oh, you should not say that like that. That sounds so weird now that you're saying it out loud.
I would come in when the script was pretty much ready and just sort of start changing things into the way that I would actually say them. And then also getting to know about the contestants, like looking up their Instagrams, trying to learn a little bit about them ahead of time, because we would also try to create a sort of juxtaposition between one contestant and the other. You two are colleagues, so today's bets could be pretty interesting. Sonia, what does Johanna have to do if you win today?
Johanna and I were talking about this beforehand, and we thought it would be fun if both of us, if the person who loses has to eat like a big spoon of sriracha sauce.
A spoonful of sriracha, wow.
Honestly, one of the things that I found is really helpful is changing how I sit in my chair. I've always sat before with like just feet on the floor, perfect posture, you know, looking right at the camera. And with these, I kind of sit cross-legged in my chair. And that feels a lot more natural and casual to me, because that's how I would sit if I was actually talking to somebody about it. And that alone has been really helpful.
I love listening to a hype song right before. Ness by Chelsea Cutler is my hype song.
So what lessons have these hosts learned that they want other journalists to know?
I don't think that having a casual delivery has to damage your credibility. I think if you really know your information and you can show that you've put in the work and you've done the research and you're knowledgeable and you're giving them layers of information that they weren't expecting, I think people can understand that you're credible and authoritative on a subject without you having to try to convince them.
Anytime that you're trying something new, there's going to be some sort of risk involved, right? If you've never done this before, I think being willing and okay with that risk is something that we should be willing to do more of in news.
I would also recommend, look at some of your favorite YouTubers if you have some, and maybe try to replicate some of the mannerisms or things that they use when they're recording a video, because obviously these people are super practiced and good at being conversational and casual in these videos.
For more tips on creating social first video for younger audiences, check out our full playbook at poynter.org/VidSpark. And you can watch all of these hosts in action at the links below.